I've got a question for you. What is your ripple? Let me tell you a story. About a year ago, I was traveling to work and I had this leather holder with two journals in it. Now, one of these journals I used to track my habits in, and the other journal I was using because I was going through this process of reflecting on past relationships. So I was writing about successes and failures and mistakes I'd made and just trying to learn from that stuff, right? So in short, there was a lot of very personal stuff in that journal. Now imagine as I get off that train, I realise I've left the holdall on the train, right? My stomach starts doing backflips. Fortunately, I was in a pretty good mood because I'd had a great morning. You know, I'd gone through my morning routine, I'd meditated, I'd exercised, I'd done my affirmations, did the whole thing, right? So I was in a good state. So I wasn't as freaked out as I would have been, you know, before I had that routine. So when I get upstairs in the tube station, I talk to the guy working there, and he says he's going to call ahead and see if anyone's handed it in. I'm thinking, okay, you know, maybe let's stay hopeful, right? I go to work. When I'm at work, Mr. Worst Case Scenario appears, starts, oh, if you've lost it, do you know what I mean? Oh my God, can you imagine someone reading that stuff? And I'm like cringing at the thought of someone reading it, right? But I managed to stay fairly hopeful, right? Until about 6 o'clock, finish work, I'm back at the station. So I managed to get hold of the guy. Good news, someone's handed it in 5 stops later, right? I'm like, sigh of relief. Jump on the train, go and collect it. Now, I'm really grateful that it's worked out so well, and I'm really grateful that he's gone the extra mile. He'd called like a few different stations to try and work out where it was, right? And so I decided, as a thank you, I'm going to give him a gift. So I gave him a copy of a book called The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. And this book just outlines how, by using personal development practices each morning, you can essentially change yourself and organically change your life, because inside is outside, right? And as you change yourself, everything around you changes. So I give him the book. I'll leave it for maybe, you know, a month or two before I ask him, you know, how's it going, how's your morning routine? And he's like, well, you know, yeah, I just kind of started reading the book, kind of, it looks quite good. And I'm like, okay, leave it a little longer. Next time I speak to him, similar vibes. He started to dabble now, he started to exercise a little bit, but I could tell he wasn't really fully on it, right? So I just kind of left it. Pretty much forgot about it, really. Months and months passed. Now, a few weeks ago, approximately a year later, a few weeks ago, I'm going to work and I'm in a tremendous mood, man. I killed my morning habits and I was just flying high, right? So I'm coming through the station, I see the guy, I'm like, hey, what's up? I said, how's the morning routine? And he's like, oh, brother, he's like, oh, that book, what can I say about that book? He's like, thank you so much. And I'm like, yo, what's up? He said, well, I'm not doing all of it, but you know, what I am doing is really having an effect, man. It's really having an effect. And so I'm curious now, right? I'm like, okay, so what are you doing? Which parts? So he says, well, like, the main thing is I exercise every morning now. And it gives me so much energy, just changes my day completely. And not only that, but I exercise in the morning and then I go to the gym and I train with my friends, right? And I'm like, cool. And he's like, yeah, and then not only that, not only have I got my friends involved, but now I'm starting to get my family involved. Now my family's exercising as well. And like, when he said that, like, I felt it, man. I was like, oh, wow. I was kind of taken aback because I didn't really have any expectations, you know. I wasn't sure if he'd read it, to be honest with you, let alone share it with friends, let alone then share it with family as well. So I was quite surprised. And, you know, he was a little emotional, like, when he was telling me about it, man. I was like, oh, thank you, man. So, you know, I gave him the pound, like, hug it out, like, take it easy, have a good day. And I left the station and I felt such complete alignment between who I am, like my values as someone who learns and shares, and what had happened, that my eyes started to actually tear up, and I got emotional, and it just blew me away because it really made me realize how the things we do can and do ripple out. And you never know how far out that ripple might even go. So my question to you once again is, what is your ripple? You. What is your ripple? What is your impact? What is your effect on the people around you? How are you changing the world? The reality is, every decision you make, every action you take, your interactions, all the things you're doing, they're constantly echoing out into the world, and you don't know whose life you could touch, you don't know whose life you could change, and you don't know whose life they could change, and you don't know how far that can go. So I challenge you to consciously and consistently choose the impact that you're going to have on the world. And make it a positive impact too. I'd like to finish with a quote from Henry Adams, who said, "A teacher affects eternity. There is no telling where his influence stops." Thank you.